It's Tuesday morning, time for some hills. The weather's not looking great, but I need to hurry up because in just a couple of hours, entries for Ultra Trail Kosciuszko are opening. So I'm doing less runs per week than I used to at the moment. I'm only doing 4 runs a week, which makes things a bit different. About a year ago, I was doing the same kind of mileage, but 6 runs a week. I'm aiming for 60 Ks this week. And about a year ago, I was probably doing about the same, but I was doing 6 runs a week, which meant that most of my runs were less than 10 Ks, and fueling was something that I didn't really have to worry about other than for my long runs. Whereas at the moment, all of my runs this week are going to be more than 10 Ks. And so fueling is something that, you know, kind of makes sense to actually be thinking about on all of my runs now. Previously, I would just use Powerade all the time for all my long runs, but lately I've been going through some tailwind that I've had left over, and I got some Cliff Bars and stuff today, and it's got me thinking a bit about how I actually plan to fuel for future races. Race nutrition is something I've talked about a lot, and honestly it feels like a constant learning experience. At my first UTA, I didn't have enough electrolytes and seriously paid for it with some massive cramps. But then 6 months later, I thought I'd fixed it and went really, really well at the Kosci 50 and then UTA 50 last year as well. But then stepping up to the bigger distances, I feel like I still haven't quite got it right. At Val d'Aran in Spain, I was constantly thirsty. And maybe that was from too much electrolytes, or maybe it was just from the heat. But then at the Kosci 100, I had the opposite problem. I was cramping, and towards the end of the race, I was peeing heaps as well. And I don't know if that was because it was cold and I wasn't having enough electrolytes. I don't know. But maybe this will help. The first time I tried Naak a couple of years ago, I really didn't like the taste. But I tried some again just recently at Tarawera, and it was pretty good. And so with that and the uncertainty of what I'm going to be doing for my nutrition plan, I figured I'd give it another shot. Like Tailwind, Naak has a lot more electrolytes than the Powerade that I usually use. And I think that that's what I need for colder races like UTA and last year's Kosciuszko. So let's give it a try on my long run this week. So we've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes now, and I've gone through 1 bottle of lime flavored Naak, and the taste isn't the best, but it's definitely manageable. And it's got a lot of electrolytes, so it's got about 400 milligrams of sodium, what else? 200 milligrams of potassium, 30 milligrams of calcium, 52 milligrams of magnesium. And so it's got a lot in there. It's about twice as much sodium and a lot more of the other stuff too. But the race nutrition isn't just about electrolytes. What about water and carbs as well? So some very general recommendations are between 60 and 90 grams of carbs per hour, around 500 to 750 mils of water per hour, and apparently about 500 milligrams of sodium per hour. But obviously the Naak that I'm having has less than that. And so I think it's definitely important to add in some real food when you're going for really long periods of time as well. But also those numbers will definitely change depending on you and how fast you're going and how hot it is and all that kind of stuff. So like, take these as general guidelines, but then definitely try things out on your own and adjust things as you need to. So I think my experimenting went pretty well. The lime Naak tasted all right, and the neutral one, not so much. One positive takeaway though, I tried putting half a serving of Naak with my usual serving of Powerade, and that seemed to taste pretty good, and so I'm keen to give that a bit more of a try in the future. When it comes to exactly how much of each of these ingredients I actually need to be consuming, I'm still a little bit unsure. I think that electrolytes are a little bit like carbs in that you have a certain amount of reserve storage of it, and eventually you'll start to run out and feel the effects of it. But I feel like that doesn't happen with electrolytes for a few hours. That might explain why Powerade has worked pretty well for 50Ks, but it doesn't seem to quite cut it for 100K. But I did get a little bit confused later on afterwards when I went and did some research, and now I'm not sure if the Naak has 400 milligrams of sodium or 1,000 milligrams. And that's why, alongside doing some research, I highly recommend getting out there and testing some things for yourself. UTA is only about 2 months away, and so now is definitely the time to start trying things out so that you're not second guessing on race day. Training is definitely feeling pretty solid at the moment. I didn't get quite as much vertical as I would have liked to this week, but I made up for that by doing about 5 extra Ks, including 3 Ks at a pretty hard effort after my long run this week. So progress is definitely happening. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on race nutrition and fueling in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, what? Where's the camera? Oh, sorry. Like and subscribe.